Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. I'm not going anywhere because I do have a very important video to make in my backyard studio. So let's get ready. What indicators can your body give you to tell you that you are in the best possible position to generate the most power on the bike? I do feel that in between these two extremes, the self-adjustment and the bike fit, there is some sort of your responsibility to actually understand your body, learn from some indicators that our muscle and our tendons can give us to understand if you are generating the most power. But first of all, go and watch my video about how to set the cleats. Yes, this is mandatory and is the most important thing I have to say to make sure that the full power is pushed through the pedals. So please make sure that your cleats are correctly set up so all the rest will make sense. It's not as warm, so I can also show you my new gilet or vest from Sdle. Once you got your cleats set up and the bike is the right size, the next critical adjustment is of course the saddle height. And we know that from various videos of bike fitters that riding with a saddle that is too high or even slightly too high will cause so many problems, discomfort and lack of power, rather than having a saddle that is slightly lower. Saddle being too high will cause lack of engagement, especially from the hamstring in the bottom part of the stroke, will cause the saddle to push too hard on your bum and cause discomfort and possibly saddle sores. Maybe will prevent your pelvis to rotate forward as needed, so will cause a problem with the reach of the bike. So yes, being too high is the really worst that you can set yourself up on the bike. So to me, the main indicators that I was too high was the saddle pushing too much into your body. So yes, when the saddle is too high, it's like you are hovering on the bike, you're not actually in the bike, and the discomfort will progressively be annoying for your riding enjoyment. Secondly is the leg engagement. Because of the lack of hamstring engagement, you will feel your quads burning and you will see that the cadence is not really a round movement, but you will be like chopping and you'll find yourself like more of a piston movement rather than a nice circular progression. But here is where the magic happens. The power that you can push through the pedals is critical, and with the correct saddle height, you will be able to push through the power phase. So from 2 to 5 p.m, from here to here, with the force going down and slightly backward. If the saddle height is correct, you will not feel at the bottom of the stroke a lack of pressure, like the cleats have been pulling down, because that will mean that your leg is almost overextending, foot is going to be pointed down, and the pedal is going to pull the shoe from below. So that will be another great indicator that your position is not correct. So from 5 to 6 to 7 p.m, your hamstring, the posterior chain of the leg, will help, like they say, scraping the mud from the shoe and continue the power transfer on your pedal. From this position and onwards, we don't pull up with the right leg, the other leg will continue the power phase. Yes, so the pulling up movement that some people refer to from this position is not really advisable, because you don't want to engage your hip flexors. They are small muscle, not designed to pull up in this way. But the most useful indicators that for me made the most sense and helped me a lot in adjusting the saddle even by millimeters was looking at the tendons of the ankle, and specifically the anterior tibialis tendon. So this area here for me is what really can define your best position, and a step like this can make you feel what these tendons do and how to engage the ankle isometrically to make sure that the full body weight can go through the pedals and increase your power. What I do, especially with cycling shoes, so at least the platform is going to be consistent with what you're going to feel on the bike, I try to push all the way on one leg and feel here the engagement of the anterior tibialis and the tendons that connect the muscle to the foot and the ankle. in that particular moment when you have to produce the maximum power, ankling is not efficient. You want a solid platform. Imagine if I had a lot of weight on me, the only way to push myself up would be to lock the ankle and push all the power through the leg and the glutes in order to lift me up. At the bottom of the pedal stroke, of course, to clear the movement, you lose some of the lock of the ankle to make sure that your natural movement is maintained. But what you don't want to feel is the lack of engagement of these tendons. If you do point your foot, straight away you will feel that this area is disengaged, the calf is actually engaged, and there will be a very different movement, and I will be able to lift less weight to pull myself up. So imagining going into the pointed toe position is going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, to put any weight. Toe is pointing down too much and you're losing important power. What is less relevant is the overall angle of the foot. Yes, because you can exert the maximum power when you're here, when you're here, when you're here, as long as the leg is in the right position. That means that instead of pushing down this way, you are pushing this way. But as long as the tendons are engaged, the power is maintained. What you don't want to do is to be in a position where this angle is too much. That means that this disengaged the lock of the ankle, put too much pressure on the calf and reduces the power. Getting warm again. With a boxing analogy that I always love to cite, is very similar when you throw a punch in a way, because what you don't want to do, you don't want to overextend. So when you have completed the movement, this doesn't have any more power. So in the same way, when your leg is fully extended, at the bottom of the stroke there won't be any power, and you do need the kind of bouncing element which is in boxing, going in and out, and on the bike the engagement of the hamstring at the bottom of the stroke, so that's why you don't want the full extension. And this keeping the ankle solid is very similar to the wrist, because when you hit hard, last thing you want to do, of course, is to have a weak spot here on the wrist. So imagine you have a cast, so you want to really hit with full force in and out. And in a similar way, when you push hard down the leg, the ankle has to be strong. So to me, this was almost a revelation. I'm not a bike fitter. I'm just someone that tries to get the best position, the best power, especially at my age. I'm 51. I'm trying to stay close to my young friend when they push hard on a hill, on the flat. So I need all the power I can get through to make sure I'm still riding with a fast group. But I believe that this attention to your body is always important. Even if you had the bike fit, then ultimately it's your body and you know how you feel on the bike. Measurements and the pressure parts, the lasers can do up to a stage. Then of course it's your slight adjustment, as long as you listen properly to your body, that will determine the perfect position on your bike. Guys, let me know in the comment if anything of what I said resonates with what you have experienced. I would love to hear, and as usual, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you to the next video. Ciao!